When the buzzer of Game 6 of the 2019 NBA Finals sounded, it would be the Toronto Raptors that got the honor of taking home their first ever NBA championship. But the months that would follow would be anything but relaxing for the team's franchise player, Kawhi Leonard. As he traveled across the country trying to figure out which team to sign with next season, he watched as a shocking criminal story broke out about his sister, Kamisha Williams. A story that would put her life on the line. Who is this mysterious Kamisha Williams? What is her dark history? And why might her life currently be in jeopardy? If you thought Nikola Jokic had some interesting siblings, wait till you hear about this one. I just checked my analytics and get this, only 1% of you guys are subscribed. 1. To the 99% of you who are watching all my videos but for some reason not subscribing, why? If you just hit that little red button, more of my videos will get recommended to you, which apparently you all love watching, but all don't want to subscribe. That's kinda weird, so just click that button, okay? I love you. And with that, let's get into today's story. Kamisha Williams was one of Kawhi Leonard's 4 older sisters. The 5 siblings were raised in Compton, California, a city where 1 in 86 people are either murdered, raped, or the victim of an armed robbery. Only 34 other cities in America have a greater ratio than this. When Kawhi was 5 and Kamisha was 10, their parents Mark Leonard and Kim Robertson divorced, and the kids moved in with their mother. As Kawhi became older, he developed a cool, calm poker face of sorts to never risk getting on the wrong side of someone in the streets. He dedicated his time to playing football and spending hours a day at his dad's car wash, who, in a world where none of his peers were great influences, he found a best friend in. But Kawhi's paranoia of getting on the wrong side of people would only strengthen on one cold January night in 2008. His father got in a dispute with 3 men he had never spoken with before at the car wash. They then left, before returning hours later in the depths of the night as Mark was closing up the shop. One man stepped out of the car, a hoodie blocking his face, and blasted 30 shots into the shop. Mark's new wife, Jacqueline Leonard, managed to escape the incident unharmed, but Mark wasn't as lucky. He was hit 10 times. On their way back from a basketball game, Kawhi and his mother Kim heard a ring of the phone. Kawhi picked it up. Jacqueline spoke for a minute before Kawhi looked up at his mother and uttered the words, "My daddy's dead." Mark Leonard's killer would never be found. Everybody coped with the tragedy differently. Kawhi put everything he could into basketball to try and escape the hellscape that was Compton, but in a place where opportunity was practically non-existent, he saw his sister Kamisha take the more common path: crime. Over the years, Kamisha would be charged for petty theft, grand theft, misappropriating lost property, grand theft auto, and attempted robbery. But even when Kawhi hit it big in the NBA and helped her move out of Compton and into the luxurious Temecula, California, the lifestyle she had now spent decades pursuing couldn't be shaken from her. Standing at 6'2" and weighing 320 pounds, someone was bound to get hurt whenever Kamisha became aggressive. In 2015, she was banned from Pechanga Resort Casino after robbing someone of their earnings. Lucky for her, Williams wasn't prosecuted for the crime and got to walk free, but a hint of luck and a petty ban wasn't gonna stop her from doing it again. In 2019, Kamisha and another woman by the name of Candace Townsell went into the same very casino, thinking that they could get away with theft for the second time in a row. But then, disaster struck. They watched as an 84-year-old woman named Afaf Assad won $1,000 from the slot machines. Then, they followed her into the bathroom and beat her unconscious. Assad was rushed to the hospital with a broken skull and was pronounced dead 3 days later. According to the doctor that worked on her, the amount of punch marks on her body were too many to count. Williams would be charged with murder, theft, and the abuse of an elder. Of all the crimes Kamisha had ever committed, this one was different. Because her family was so rich, she was held without bail in the John J. Benoit prison in Indio, California. If prosecuted, she would face the death penalty. And so, she put her life in the hands of attorney Peter Ginsburg, who had been representing Kawhi in a lawsuit he had filed against Nike. Her team would later be described as, quote, the best defense money can buy. However, the date of her trial would get pushed farther and farther back as the district attorney continued to stall on making a verdict. He was torn. Kamisha's life was now completely in his hands. And that's when things get a little bit mysterious. Ever since January of 2020, not a single soul has mentioned Kamisha's name. No articles, no social media outlets, not even Kawhi or anyone in his family. Kamisha isn't listed as one of the 697 Californians on death row, and California hasn't executed anybody since 2006, so it's fair to assume that Williams is thankfully still alive and will never have to worry about being executed by the state. She's probably serving either a life sentence or something close to it, living a life of pain and boredom in that same very Indio prison cell. Maybe one day we'll get a concrete answer to what's going on with Kamisha Williams, but for now, her story serves as a chilling testament to the types of irreversible scars one's conditions in childhood can leave. Growing up, Kamisha had to suffer through the murder of her father, and go through each and every day of her life on her toes as a result of the constant violence of Compton that she herself had seen the worst of on that tragic night at the car wash. The world around her was begging her to go down the life of crime, and even once her brother became arguably the most celebrated basketball player on the planet, that lifestyle had such a stranglehold on her mind that nothing could stop her from changing, until she met her inevitable doom. Rest in peace to Mark Leonard and Afaf Assad, and as always, stay safe out there.